Hey everyone. Today we will look at two scenarios. Okay. So the first scenario that we are going to look at is regarding how do you increase the size of a volume, or how do you change the volume type from general purpose SSD to provision IOPS SSD and so on. So for that, first we will get started with creating an EC2 instance, and then we will allocate a volume to it, and then we will go ahead and try to modify that volume and increase the size of that volume for that particular EC2 instance. Okay. So to get started, let's go ahead and create an EC2 instance. So let's click on launch instance. So now let's go ahead and choose the second operating system, which is our Amazon Linux AMI. So for this particular AMI, the catch to going ahead and modifying or increasing your volume is all that you need to do is do a restart for the EC2 instance, so that automatically the volume modification gets recognized by the operating system. But if you are going with some other operating system like Red Hat or SUSE Linux or Ubuntu Server and so on, or even CentOS, you will have to go ahead and execute certain commands, which is given in the AWS documentation, to go ahead and increase the size of your volume, and in order to go ahead and create a new partition from the increased volume size, and then also go ahead and extend the root volume, or probably increase additional volume that you have already allocated to that EC2 instance. So for that, you may have to use certain commands like fdisk or grow part and so on. That's specifically given in the AWS documentation. But today we will see a very nice scenario wherein all that we need to do is just restart our EC2 instance, and automatically the volume size is increased. Okay. So we are going to go with Amazon Linux AMI, and then we are going to choose our T2 micro instance, which is within the free tier. And then in this particular page, we are not going to modify anything, but I just want to spend some time talking about something called as tenancy. So when we are going with tenancy, what happens is, what we are doing right now is we are sharing our instances hardware with another bare metal instance, that with another instance in another EC2, sorry, in another AWS account that could probably be using the same hardware in that availability zone, right? So it could possibly be using an bare metal instance over which they have installed a hypervisor, and then we are probably sharing our hardware with another person, but on the same instance. So this is called for as multi-tenant, wherein a lot of people launch their EC2 instances, and then they could possibly be sharing the same hardware where in that particular availability zone, where these EC2 instances could be spread across multiple AWS accounts. There is also one more configuration over here called as dedicated instance, and the dedicated instance would be single tenant in nature, not multi-tenant as shared. So that dedicated instance would be used only for your purpose, and you will only be having the dedicated instance for your own purpose, if you want to have some kind of licensing requirements and so on. And then we have one more option over here wherein we can get a dedicated host. So we can purchase a dedicated host, which was one of the pricing models that we described, and then we can go ahead and launch either one of these virtual machines on the dedicated host. The only difference between a dedicated host and a bare metal instance is that on the bare metal instance, you are responsible for installing the hypervisor and also managing it. But when it comes to a dedicated host, AWS themselves take care of managing the hypervisor on your behalf, and then all you have to do is launch virtual machines onto the dedicated host, wherein you are tied to the capacity of the dedicated host. So if suppose the capacity of the dedicated host is around 52 virtual CPUs and so on, then you are tied to that maximum capacity that you can have for that particular for the multiple EC2 instances or the virtual machines that you launch onto that dedicated host. Okay. So I just wanted to walk you through this particular setting. So now let's go ahead and add some storage to the EC2 instance. So this is an EBS volume, it's storage attached network. So we will go ahead and add 8 GB right now, but then we are going to go ahead later and modify this volume to also include 30 GB of storage, right? So let's go ahead and add tags. So I'm going to give this a name tag. So I'm just calling it as my web server volume increase example, so that it also tags both the instances and the volumes. So let me go ahead and configure security group wherein I'll be able to SSH into this EC2 instance. So I'm going to use port 22 to my IP. And I'm also going to go ahead and add, okay, so I may not need to do that also. So if you anyone wants to add any other port, you can go ahead and add another port. So you can probably add HTTP if you're installing a web server like NJNX or HTTPD and so on. but right now I wouldn't need the second one for this particular lab. So let's go only with port 22 open to my public IP address. So let's click on review and launch, and let's click on launch. So I'm going to choose my key pair, which I already have. I acknowledge that I have my key pair, and I'm clicking on launch instances. So now let's wait for a second or two until this instance comes up. So you can see over here, the instance is over here. It's in the pending state. So now let's look at the volume for this particular instance. Let's copy the instance name, and let's go to volumes below. And now we can see that we have the volume also being created over here. So it's still in the process of creating, I believe. So let me just refresh over here once. Yeah. So now the volume has been fully provisioned and it's in use status. So now this volume is of 8 gigs in size. Now, if we want to modify this volume, what we can possibly do is we can go to actions and click on modify volume. And you can see over here, we can modify the size to maximum be up to 16 TB. And we can also change from general purpose SSD to provisioned IOPS SSD. So if we were to change it to provisioned IOPS SSD, we have to mention an IOPS over here, right? So we are going to go ahead and leave it at general purpose SSD. And we are also going to modify our volume to 30 gigs. But before that, let me log into the EC2 instance and run two Linux commands to show you the partitions and the size of the volume. So let me go ahead and go to instances. Let me copy the public IP of this instance. So let me open up my terminal. So let me log into this EC2 instance. So once we have logged into this EC2 instance, we are going to elevate our privileges to super user, or it may not also be necessary. Let us try two commands called lsblk that lists all of our partitions and mount points. So you can see over here, it is right now at 8 gigs in size. And let's now go ahead and do one more command over here to see some of the partitions, df-h. So you can see over here, it gives you more details regarding the name of the disk and so on. So it's dev/xvda1, which is 7.9 gigs in size, which means the total size is only 8 gigs, right? And it's mounted onto the slash partition. Now let's go ahead and modify the volume once. So going back to the console, let's go to volumes, and let's go ahead and modify the volume. And now let's increase the size to 30 gigs, right? And click on modify and click on yes. So once this volume is in modifying status, so right now it will not be in the in-use status, it will change to the modifying status over here, right? And we will have to wait for a little bit of time until this has been modified and it has come to the optimizing status. So once it's in the optimizing status, what we can do is we can run the same two commands to see whether the change has been reflected or not. So right now it has come to the optimizing status of 22%. Let's go back to our virtual machine and let's try both the previous commands. So you can see over here, the XVDA disk has been now changed to 30 gigs. Let's go back to df-h. And right now you can see that there is literally no change over here still on the file system that's mounted on, right? So you can still see 8 gigs over here. So now this 8 gigs has to change to 30 gigs to reflect the new size of that disk, right? So how do you increase the boot volumes partition, right? So when it comes to this particular operating system, all that you will have to do maximum is go ahead and restart this instance. So now let's go ahead and restart this particular instance. Click on actions, instance state, and reboot, and click on reboot. You will be logged out of your terminal, right? So it's going to reboot right now. So we'll just have to wait for a little bit of time, like at least a minute or two, until this instance has been rebooted. So let's wait for a little bit of time. And let's also look at the volume status as to where it is right now. So you can see it's still in optimizing status, but let's wait for a little bit of time until the instance has rebooted. Right. So generally, you would face these use cases in the market, right? So when you're working for a particular client and so on, you may have to face this scenario wherein you will have to increase the root volume or probably increase the volume size and expand your boot volume. Probably if you have only one volume that is attached, but if you have multiple volumes that are attached, you could go ahead and modify the respective volumes and also go ahead and expand the volume and so on. So all these are possible. You can also go ahead and shrink your volume size. And for this particular operating system alone, like I iterated multiple times, all you need to do is just restart the EC2 instance, and then you automatically get the reflected volume size increase. So let's go ahead and execute this command again, and let's see if we get access. So the instance is rebooted. So now let's try both these previous commands, ls blk. And you can see over here right now, it has reflected the new increase in size for this particular partition of slash. Before, you can see in my terminal, it was only reflecting 8 gigs even after the change in size. And now let's do the other command called df-h, and let's see if it reflects over here also. So even over here, it reflects the change in size, which is 30 gigs. Previously, it was showing 7.9 gigs. So this is how you increase the volume and you modify the volume. So you can also change the class from general purpose SSD to provisioned IOPS SSD. That's also possible. But right now I have showed you as to how to go ahead and increase the size of your volume. And I mean, all you need to do is just restart the EC2 instance. Okay. So this is the first section that I wanted to show you. I'll stop the recording for some questions right now.